Hello and welcome to the Rabbit Hole Report. I'm Tony.
I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And today we're going to talk a little bit about dreams and what they mean, why do we dream, and how we can use it to our advantage or how it has been used to our disadvantage. Now, do you guys have any thoughts on whether you think dreams have any actual meaning?
Yeah, last week, okay, I have a test for a dream. Okay, and I'm going to ask you something that's very personal. Only you will know the answer. How do you spell your last name?
Do you actually want me to spell it?
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Tiefenauer.
Okay. How do you
Pass.
How do you spell my last name?
No, it's impossible.
Okay, that's a normal answer, so you're both real.
I've got it.
I had a little trouble before, huh?
Dipsh.
That's my nickname, not my last name.
Okay, sorry, I went blue.
Am I blue?
Double D, double da.
All right.
Sorry, if you want
I just had to check to make sure you're real. I had a little bit of a disconnect, I think, last week, and I'm not sure what's real anymore. Was it all a dream?
Is that what you were doing by yourself?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, so you have a logic test to see if it's a dream or not. Some people, like in TV shows, will be like, pinch me or something like that, right?
But I knew if I pinched you, you'd be offended.
I would cry, yes.
Yes.
So, I mean, what do you believe about, do dreams have meaning?
I've heard, various people try to explain it, like it could be the mind filtering out memories. I don't know if we would remember them as much as we do if that were the case. I'd never thought about that literally until this second.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that or just your brain kind of in overdrive while everything else is asleep.
Well, yeah, so dreams in itself is supposed to be kind of like the highlight reel of your day, and it takes away things that, almost like it's being edited, and just taking away anything that your memory doesn't deem as important. So it just kind of starts getting rid of stuff, and then you just kind of remember what you remember, and that's what dreams could be doing. And it can also be used in ways of problem solving, things like that. Very famously, Paul McCartney wrote the melody to Yesterday,
Yes.
Via a dream. He woke up and was like, I got this. He played it, figured it out, and then called the bandmates like, does this sound familiar? Because it's in my head. No one's like, I never heard it, and Yesterday was born. There's stories that the way that we visualize DNA, right, with the helix and everything, that was also in a dream, visualized in that way. So a lot of people have the ability to kind of control or just use their memories in a way to benefit them. But at the same time, we've also have had nightmares, right? Mm-hmm. And where does that come from? Very, very fascinating why I went down this in particular rabbit hole. Now, nightmares typically, you're under stress, right? There's some sort of trauma, or it could be something you just watched before you went to sleep. Again, it's your memory kind of going through things and just trying to filter out what's going on, and it all happens within the moment when your brain kind of shuts off and goes into REM, right? REM, not the band. Calm down.
Everybody hurts.
That in that period, that's when your brain is just actively going, but your body is completely not doing anything. It's paralyzed, and that's going to be important with a conversation we'll have a little bit later. But within that time period, did you know that we actually only dream for about 5 minutes to 20 minutes? We just have multiple dreams. So you're just going through several dreams over and over again in 5 to 20 minute increments. So if you feel like you're taking a nap and you just lived an entire lifetime. And it's actually only within 5 to 20 minutes, just within that time frame there. And I mean, we see that really explored in things like in movies like Inception, where there's just several layers, and people feel like they lived entire lives in there. So yeah, where do you guys lie with nightmares? Do you guys have remember the last nightmare you have, or one that really like stuck with you?
One of the most recent I had, I don't know if I was like a ghost investigator or something like that, but I was at this college campus. The semester was over, so not many people there, but I was there with a friend or two, whatever. We're investigating whether it's haunted, and it's just this empty like musical auditorium. A ghost did show up in it and said something along the lines of like, "We have no further use for you," in a very creepy voice, and like flew at me in the dream. And that's when it woke me up. The humorous tag, which I think you'll appreciate, is that as you're still kind of half asleep, but as I'm sleeping, it came out as something like a ooh. And I just, in the dark, feel my wife's hand come over, and I'll not hit the microphone, and just gently tap me on the chest, because her sissy husband is over there making very pathetic noises.
That's what you do with a little baby. You just go beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, but the dream itself, it had a little building dread, but it was literally that one just perfect like horror movie moment. That was probably the last one I had that I remember, and it was enough to wake me up.
Oh, wow.
For the most part, I don't remember having nightmares. I also, for the most part, don't remember dreaming. I don't have a lot of dreams that I recall. Sometimes I'll go, oh yeah, and then within seconds it disappears. I know I've had a dream, but I don't know what. The theory of it, being your experiences, it's going through your experiences. I think it's a combination, because from what I've read about dreams, if you see a face in a dream, you have seen that face. It could have been in a crowd, in a shopping. You don't know who they are, but you've seen that face. The mind can't make that up, but it gets combined with things that are made up. Maybe you're in a hospital doing something, you've never been there, and so I don't know how it all.
Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
okay.
I'm sorry, I did not mean to derail you, please.
No, that's all right. It's not that tough to derail my train. But the whole thing is, I think it is a combination of reality, and then the mind is working a story. It just does its thing.
Well, I think that nightmares, and I don't really get a whole lot of them, and I mean, I'm lucky in that aspect. However, I do have the occasional dreams where like, and this is very common with people, of like teeth falling out. And
I've had
I've
a
heard
couple
of
of
that.
those.
yeah, and so like some people will say, and because there's so many people that have the teeth falling out, being chased, driving, and losing control, or a man or a monster of some sort chasing you or something like that. That's your brain trying to help you out, trying to figure out what this trauma is, and it's letting you know like what's going on. So something with teeth falling out, that usually represents a self-image problem, that you're not very happy with the way you look and everything like that, and your brain is using it in in picture mode of telling you like, oh, your teeth are falling out. You're worried about what people think of you not having your teeth and how you'll look because of that, and that's just your brain trying to tell you that.
Have you ever had a flying dream or a floating dream?
Absolutely, and that's the thing, is that the reason why I don't usually have nightmares is because I'm capable of controlling my dreams. I can lucid dream, and that's its own thing as well. But with control will also kind of become out of control, because I will also wake myself up out of a dream and still be in REM mode and experience sleep paralysis. And so I can't move, my eyes are open and I'm trying to kick my body awake. And a lot of people have a lot of, nightmares in this aspect, because when you wake up, you're paralyzed, or you have this sensation of pressure pushing you down. It's
Like
this
the old hag.
and you'll start seeing things such as famously the old hag, the shadowy man, the man in the hat, the just something that's there that is causing this to happen. And usually it's malicious, because whatever your brain is trying to put together, you can't help but try to make it humanized in some sort. And thus, but you're freaking out because you can't move. It's this moment of true fear and paralysis. Now, I know that some people have even experienced dying in their dreams. And I have heard that people who die in their dreams, it's like a sign of psychosis. And so I ask you all, have you ever died in your dreams?
I have not.
I have.
You have?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
So just slide on out. Maybe I can just talk to myself for a whole episode.
Maybe you haven't this whole time.
Oh no, what a twist that would be.
That would be a twist.
So yeah, I guess that's supposed to be pretty weird. Trying to tie all that together, I don't think I've ever had sleep paralysis. Not that I'm aware of. I have nightmares frequently, but that makes sense if you suffer from sleep paralysis that you said. Unfortunately, a lot of the nightmares, I'll wake up and they may scare me awake, but I'm like, oh man, that was so cool. Just visually what was happening. I'll even write, outlines or screenplays, scripts for stories about them. But they do get real in the fact that I get killed sometimes. I had one where this giant monster thing. I'll spare the whole setup, but it's one that felt kind of real. There's weird stuff happening, but straight up horror movie. I ended up taking a spear right through the chest, and everything went dark. And then I eventually woke up. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a bad
I
way
had
to
some where
take
I
a
should have
spear.
died, and you do kind of survive through it.
Yeah.
But that one, yeah, it was literally bang.
I don't know if it means that I am psychotic or not, but I don't have these kind of dreams. I generally don't, and I don't feel like, I have read where, yes, you may not remember, but everybody dreams every night.
Sure.
So hopefully that's what's working, because
Well, yeah, because you have memories in general, that
Yes.
means it's doing something.
Yeah.
I think statistically, you'll forget 95% of the dreams that you actually have, and then that small 5% is what you may or may not even recall. Like, you might wake up and be like, "Oh, that's a dream," and then you completely forget about it later.
well, there are, I think, 2 dreams in my life that I can close my eyes and I can remember them, as plain as day. And the one flying type of dream, I woke up, and I was a young kid. I woke up elated. I felt so good when I woke up. The other one I had as an adult, and I woke up depressed. I woke up and I wanted to cry. It was like, oh, kind of thing. Went away. But only 2 in my life do I remember vividly like that.
Well, what if I were to tell you that, like, you can actually have more of those dreams because you can train yourself to lucid dream? As a person that's capable of lucid dreaming, in a way, because you talked about using your last name as a logic check, that's actually one of the first steps, is you have to establish yourself with a logic step. For me, I just think about what exactly is going on, just analyzing it, and what does not make sense. I was in New York City. Will Smith was at a red carpet I was attending, and somehow I offended him. And he was no longer Will Smith, but he was Hancock from the movie Hancock,
Okay, yeah.
where he was like Superman.
Yeah.
And he flew in the air and grabbed a medicine ball, one of the big, and tossed it, but because he had superpowers, it was just annihilating everything. And I was, so I had to run, and he was trying to hit me. I hid behind in an alleyway and was analyzing this. I'm like, wait, this is a dream. And I had to test to say, like, okay, can I make fire in my hand? And I did. I'm like, oh, now it's on, And so then I became the superhero and had this amazing dream where I fought Hancock. and waking up from it, I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, that was one of
That's
my
fine,
more
but how do you get there?
So yeah, it's small steps. It's logic checks, and it's also if you wanted to do like a sleep journal, that the more that you try to remember these things, you're training your brain to remember these things. So again, if there's logic checks, such as if you're being chased in that dream, just stop, turn around, just think, Tony told me that I need to do this, so I'm going to try it and see what happens. And I guarantee you, every single time, it will be nothing, or it'll be something that you wouldn't expect, and there's no reason for you to be scared of that. Okay. And you'll start thinking in your own head, like, oh wait, this is a dream. And you'll continually keep
fascinating.
It's a lot of fun. But I will say there is a dark side to it.
Oh.
And it's the sleep paralysis.
Of course.
There's a sleep paralysis part of it, because you will sometimes just wake up because it's a dream, and then you'll initially do that.
Is it a terror when you wake up that way?
For me, no, but for me, I changed it into a challenge of like, okay, let's lift my right leg, and I'll try, and it's so heavy, and eventually it'll do that,
Okay.
But because I have done the research of the sleeping hag and creatures, I can't help but feel like it's there. And the last time that I had that feeling, I was like, okay, I know for a fact that the hag is about to appear in my face. I'm going to hit her in the face whenever she does it. And so, when I saw her creeping, I turned and punched her in the face, and she went, ow! And I laughed, and laughed myself awake, and kicked myself
I thought
up.
you were going to say it was a real hag. I've heard people talk about this, and they say one of the keys or clues they use, and it tied into your story with the fireball, is to look at your hands. Mm-hmm. There's a lot, for some reason, this psychologist or whoever was saying you don't usually see your own hands in your dreams, so try to look at your hands.
Okay. Okay.
As another
And
trigger.
it's something that you can control.
Right. If you've seen Inception, it's the totem pole. For him, it's the top. He knows that if it falls, then it's real. But if it keeps going, it's a dream.
It's a dream.
It's whatever you can kind of anchor yourself to reality. It's not perfect. Sometimes there has been times where I'm just stuck in a dream and I can't get out of it, and I just let it ride and just pivot towards a more positive, dream. And just it is what it is. But another way, the final way, is after waking up after a dream, force yourself to go back into that same scenario again. And
I've tried to do that.
Yeah.
I want to continue this.
Exactly.
And every now and then you can.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And that's the trick, is that you just get better and better at it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's it's something that can be learned, which is exciting. But again, there is the con of sleep paralysis and all of that as well.
You talked about the hag, the hat man, and all of those. So with your experience, some people think those are actually real entities. Do you think that's just straight subconscious?
Having dreams where dreams upon dreams, like the Inception style, yes, I do believe that's the case. That it's your mind just trying to make sense of what's going on there.
When you struck her, did you hear the sound, that like thud?
I didn't hear the thud, but I heard her go, ow! Which was just a silly thing to hear
From a monstrous hag.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that kicked me out, and I just laughed myself awake.
Right.
But I remember my room, I remember my pillow next to me, and I remember just seeing something creeping. And the more like, oh, it's going to happen, and then she comes out, and I hit her, and then.
But you had pre-formed what you were going to do, though.
Yes.
If
Again.
she's there, I'm going to punch her in the nose.
Right.
So you were controlling the dream. When you came out of the dream, you acted through that.
Yes.
Even though you weren't in the dream at that point, but were you?
I was dreaming that I was in outside of a dream. A dream within dreams.
Dream
again.
within a dream. That's okay.
And that's where it gets confusing, because once you think you've kicked yourself out of a dream, you still might be in the dream. That's that whole
Well, you
concept.
said, your eyes open, sleep, but you're paralyzed. But you made the decision, I'm going to punch her in the nose. So you had paralysis, but you still punched her in the nose.
I did, yeah.
So that was dream in a dream, though.
dream within a dream.
So you really hadn't opened your eyes.
Correct.
Okay.
You're able to just visualize your room perfectly
Okay.
at times. And then again, you just don't know for sure until you know for sure. But you don't know for sure because in your dream, you're pretty sure that you're.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And you can see how later people would make films about these things, and especially something like Nightmare on Elm Street, right? With Freddy Krueger, a monster that, if you think about him, if you dream about him, whatever, he exists and is able to do
Gives him
more and more
power,
things.
yeah.
Like the power of fear, the power of using what we all do against us.
I think it's because you talk about, again, people everywhere seeing it, those are such common archetypes. Again, the Hat Man, the Hag, we don't think exists, but that is something that everybody sees all over the world. There are reports of that. So it's got to be sort of like falling from the tree, just something baked in for our survival mechanism, I would guess.
Yeah.
'Cause again, I've not had the paralysis. And by the way, I've also heard some people think that maybe in the sleep paralysis state, your eyes actually are open. So you're getting the image of the room you're in, but then your brain is also still going into overdrive.
It definitely feels that way. I mean, usually it's me just trying to move my shoulder and then arm, and many times I've woken myself up where I'm pretty sure my eyes are open the whole time, and I'll do this, and then I'm up, and I'm like, okay, I'm back. Hopefully I don't have the paralysis again and just go back to sleep again, But I feel like at no point was there a eyes shut, and waking up. There's, like I said, it feels like I'm awake the whole time.
Sorry,
You okay?
it's just hard to see. I mean,
Hard to see?
I'm kind of used to it. I'm just not fully used to it, but
Well, I understand it's dark. I mean, we're
yeah.
right
I'm
here.
sorry. Again, I don't mean to. I've derailed so many times today. I apologize.
That's okay.
You'd mentioned Freddy Krueger, but there are so many great examples of horror movies or horror media over the years, and I think it's fascinating to see how a creative and good director can build that fear. And there's a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is something as simple as a monster that you're able to punch.
Yeah. Like punching a hag.
Well, that's a good example
Yeah.
Ow!
of something we didn't expect that is scary. And again, a good director can build scares out of a lot of different ways. Some sophisticated and some, I don't know, more cheap.